In California, two best friends, Becky and Hunter, prepare to climb an abandoned 2,000-foot-tall TV tower. They secure a safety rope to each other and begin the climb, unaware that some of the tower's screws are loose and at risk of falling out. As they near the top, Hunter playfully shakes the ladder to scare Becky. In the process, a screw falls out. Finally, they reach the top and celebrate, thrilled to have made it to the top and conquered their fear. They take selfies and even use a drone to capture videos of their victory. Afterward, they secure the safety rope again and prepare to head back down. Becky goes first, carefully placing her foot onto the ladder. But as she begins her descent, the remaining screws suddenly start falling out. Realizing the danger, Becky quickly tries to climb back up, but before she can, the ladder collapses, taking her down with it. The safety rope yanks Hunter as well, but she reacts instantly, grabbing onto the pole and stopping them both from falling. Then, using all her strength, Hunter pulls Becky back up to the top. Panic sets in as they realize the ladder is gone, leaving them with no way back down. They quickly try calling for help, but there's no signal. The height of the tower blocks everything. Soon, they spot an emergency box. When they open it, they find a pair of binoculars and a flare, giving them a small sense of hope. But when they look down, they see their backpack, along with their only water, lying on the dish below. Moments later, Hunter notices Becky's leg is injured from the earlier chaos and immediately wraps the wound with her shirt. After that, she uses the binoculars and spots an old RV on the ground, though it appears to be abandoned. At that moment, Hunter comes up with an idea. Since there should be network service on the ground, she thinks the signal loss is caused by the tower's height. With about 15 feet of rope, she believes lowering her phone might help it reconnect. She quickly drafts a post telling her Instagram followers to call 911 and sets it to upload automatically once it gets a signal. Then, using Becky's hair tie, she secures the phone to the rope and carefully climbs down onto the small remaining ladder at the top, hanging there as she lowers it. As her grip starts to slip, she quickly climbs back up, but the post doesn't go through. With no other choice, they decide to drop the phone instead. To protect it, Hunter removes her shoe, places the phone inside, then adds her bra and sock to cushion it before securing everything tightly. She carefully drops it, but they have no way of knowing if it landed safely. Suddenly, Hunter spots a man walking a dog far below. They start shouting desperately, trying to get his attention, but the man doesn't hear them. Meanwhile, the man's dog wanders over to the phone, which is shattered into pieces. As Becky and Hunter keep shouting, the dog notices them and starts barking, but the man still doesn't look up. He simply calls his dog and begins walking away. Desperate, Becky takes off one shoe and throws it down, but he doesn't hear it. Then she throws the other one. This time, it hits the fallen ladder, making a sound loud enough for the man to notice. He walks over to the shoe and looks around, trying to see where it came from. Becky and Hunter shout as loudly as they can, but he still doesn't look up. Instead, he tosses the shoe aside and leaves. Becky grabs the flare gun and gets ready to fire, but Hunter stops her, pointing out that the man isn't even looking. Using their only flare now would be a waste. Soon after, Hunter sees the man heading toward the RV and realizes he lives there. So they decide to wait until sunset, hoping the flare will be more visible. As the sun goes down, Becky fires the flare. The man and his friend notice it. At the same time, Hunter turns on Becky's phone and swings it around, trying to make themselves visible. Finally, the men see them and start driving the RV. Becky and Hunter feel relieved, thinking help is on the way. However, the men drive straight to Hunter's car and steal it. Heartbroken, the two sit down to rest. At midnight, Hunter begins to slide in her sleep. Luckily, Becky notices just in time and grabs her, pulling her back before she falls. The next morning, Hunter decides to retrieve their backpack. She secures the rope to the pole and carefully starts climbing down. Soon, the rope reaches its limit, and she still can't reach the backpack. To go lower, she unhooks the safety rope and holds onto it with her hands. But even then, it's not enough. So, taking a risk, Hunter swings herself back and forth and manages to land on the dish. After drinking some water, Hunter tries to reach the rope, but it's too far. So, she secures the backpack tightly to a selfie stick and uses it to hook the rope. Now, she has no choice but to jump for it. She hesitates for a moment, then finally leaps and manages to catch the backpack. Becky starts pulling the rope while Hunter climbs, working together to get her back to the top. As Hunter gets close to the small ladder at the top, she reaches out for it, but suddenly, her foot slips from the pole and she falls. Becky breaks down, unable to even look down to see where her friend landed. Then, she hears a sound. When she finally looks, she sees that Hunter has miraculously landed on the bag. Hunter calls out, saying her hand is injured and she can't climb. Without wasting a second, Becky grabs the rope and, using all her strength, pulls Hunter back up to the top. Soon after, they spot a nearby motel. Wanting to act quickly, they decide to send the drone there before it gets dark. Becky writes a note asking for help and attaches it to the drone, then flies it straight toward the motel. However, after covering some distance, the drone's battery starts running low and it begins to drop. To avoid losing it, Becky quickly brings the drone back. The next day, Becky decides to try charging the drone using the power at the top of the tower. She packs the drone and its charger, then carefully climbs up. After removing the lamp, she holds the drone against her chest and begins charging it. With nowhere to set it down, she has to stay in place and hold it the entire time. As time passes, Becky starts to shake, struggling to maintain her grip. Suddenly, a vulture swoops in and begins pecking at her injured leg. As she tries to fight it off, she accidentally drops the bag. The vulture keeps attacking, but Becky refuses to let go, determined to fully charge the drone. Finally, it reaches full charge, and she quickly climbs back down. Without wasting time, Becky flies the drone toward the motel. But just as it's about to arrive, a truck suddenly crashes into it. The driver steps out to see what he hit, but he doesn't notice the drone or the note. He gets back into his truck and drives away, leaving Becky and Hunter devastated. Later, Becky decides to try sending a message with her phone and asks Hunter for her shoe. But Hunter tells her she can't because she's dead. That's when Becky realizes the truth. When Hunter tried to reach the ladder earlier, she had actually fallen to her death. This entire time, Becky has been alone, hallucinating. Looking down, Becky sees vultures feeding on Hunter's body. She spends the entire night crying for her friend. The next day, overwhelmed by hunger, Becky lies still and pretends to be dead. Soon, a vulture lands and starts pecking at her injured leg. In an instant, Becky grabs it and kills it. She then eats the vulture to regain her strength. Afterward, she secures the rope to the broken ladder and carefully climbs down to Hunter's body. Becky writes a rescue message to her father and places her phone inside Hunter's shoe. She apologizes to Hunter, then places the phone inside her open stomach to make sure it survives the fall. With tears in her eyes, Becky pushes Hunter's body off the tower. Luckily, the phone survives the drop, and her father receives the message. He immediately calls 911 while driving to the location. Soon, a rescue team arrives at the tower and saves Becky. Her father also arrives, and the story ends as they embrace. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future content.